What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, y'all. Hope all is well. Excited to get into some charts today, as always. How's it been going with y'all though? Let me remove this deal right here. Ish, what's going on, my man? Sorry about that, y'all. I'm over here eating some flaming hot Cheetos. So what pairs did y'all look at last week? Did y'all take any trades or any of that last week? What pairs did y'all capitalize on last week? As for me, I took a few on gold. Actually took a Bitcoin trade. I've been kind of stalking Bitcoin lately and caught a major drop on Bitcoin this week. And a lot of that is due to there was a $700 million liquidation on BTC. But I've been stalking it for a while. It kind of capped out right around 74K. And it gave a break of structure on a 4-hour time frame, and I was kind of stalking it. Price came down and it retraced right into a 4-hour supply zone. 15-minute gave a nice break of structure and a really good retest that allowed the risk to reward to be really good. So I actually caught like 600 some pips on Bitcoin, which is actually pretty profitable. So it was actually a really good trade. And other than that, you know, I've been kind of trading the S&P 500 a lot lately. That's actually becoming one of my go-tos. And of course, like I said, I caught gold. So Prince, what's up, my man? I see you caught gold and GU. Good deal. Hey, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. I'm not going to delay y'all any longer. Let's get into it. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this day, Lord. We want to thank you for life, health, and strength. I want to thank you for all the blessings that you bestowed upon us, Lord. I want to thank any and everyone that's under the sound of my voice. I pray that anyone that's affiliated with the Pips Academy, that, you know, we remain humble and that we continue to add value to them. I pray that everyone that's engaged with this particular channel, that it continues to add value and that they are more profitable than they were last week to be more profitable this week. I pray that their family is in good standings, that their health is good. I pray that this resource can, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, can help them get financial freedom. And Lord, we ask these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all, let's get into it. I'm excited for this week, and I feel like gold is probably going to give us a major move to the downside. I just feel like, and we'll get into it, but gold is probably going to be one of my primaries this week. Gold and the S&P 500, of course. But I feel like we're going to get some big moves on gold. But let's look at our news and see what we got going on. So tomorrow on Monday, you guys can see we got some news popping off at 7:30 Central. We got core retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing Index. We got the Chinese yuan tomorrow night during our Asian session. Going into Tuesday for our London session, we got the British pound, we got the clay mat count change. And we also, for our New York session, we got CPI on the Canadian dollar. So for those who trade CAD pairs and things like that, just be on the lookout. New York session, we're gonna have a lot of action on the CAD, okay? Going into 12 noon, we got the British pound. Governor Bailey speaks, and so this is pretty much in the middle of the day, right along with FOMC. It's not a red folder, but we got FOMC in the middle of the day with Barkin speaking. So we definitely might have some well, look what's followed. 12:15, we got the CAD, and we got Powell speaking. So a lot of us know whenever Powell speaks, we have a lot of traction in the market during that time. So FOMC coupled along with Chairman Powell speaking, there should be a lot of volatility on Tuesday midday. Okay. And then, you know, kind of ending that session, we have NZD, CPI. And for anyone that trades NZD, around this time, I stay away from it. I stay away from it because that's right around the time, well, not too long from when the New York session closes, going into the Sydney Asian session. And during that time with NZD, the spread is so huge and so massive that it's even ridiculous. It don't even make any sense to even trade that pair around that time. So stay far away from NZD around midday tomorrow. All right. Going into Wednesday, we got the British pound, we got CPI. So anybody that's trading GU, if you up during the London session, you might have a lot of action around that time. Looking at 11 a.m. in our New York session, we got the British pound, we got Bailey speaking again. We got some FOMC news at 4:30 on the USD. That don't usually happen around that time, but I behoove anybody to kind of stay away from that. Because spreads and volatility might be a little bit insane, so I wouldn't even fool with it. Going into our Asian session, we got the Australian dollar, employment change and employment change and unemployment rates. So we'll have some movements on AUD, which will probably impact gold as well, being that Australia is a huge importer of gold. And then looking at Thursday, we have unemployment claims for the USD, so we might have a little bit of movement during 7:30. And then closing it off on Friday, we have the British pound retail sales. Okay. All right. So that's it for our news. So let's go ahead and hop into it. And let's hop into it. All right. So we're gonna start off with GU this week. All right. So now a couple of things. Looking at the weekly time frame on GU, this is the weekly time frame. So one of the things that we want to look at is how price is kind of lining up with the weekly time frame and how it's all kind of playing out, you know, according to our analysis that we've done, you know, like 3-4 weeks ago. So as we can see on the weekly time frame, we had a break of structure or a change of character, whichever one you want to call it. And then price gave us a reaction and it tapped into our weekly supply all the way up in this area. And if you guys notice as well, we had a lot of liquidity building up in this area. Price came up, took out liquidity, and decided to dump off, okay? And one of the things we can see is it gave us a daily change of character or break of structure, whichever one you want to call it, on the daily time frame. So if we drop down to the daily, one of the things that we can see, let me remove our weekly analysis. We can see that initially, from a daily perspective, we had higher high. Let me make this a little bit darker. All right. So we can see on the daily time frame, we had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We got our change of character here. So one of the things that we can possibly see is for price to come back and tap into this bearish, bullish, bearish here, or possibly come up and tap into this this daily supply here that caused the daily change of character. So that's one of the things that I'm looking for, is for price to give us a nice pullback into this supply zone here, and then possibly continue along with that weekly structure. If I put it back up, and our ultimate goal is what I want to see is for price to come down and take out this weekly low in this area right here. Okay. So if we drop down to our 4 hour, and we can, and looking at GU, we can see that market structure is really clean. It's really clean, and it's showing you exactly, you know, what it's doing and things like that. So it's not messy, and you can clearly see the peaks and valleys on this. So one of the things that we had on the 4 hour on GU, we can see initially we had price to come up, higher high, higher low, higher high, gave us a change of character here, Price came up, gave us that retest into this area here, dropped off, gave us another change of character, and then it dropped off again. All right. So it gave us a change of character. So one of the things that we're looking for is for price to possibly, like I said, come back up into this area. We have a lot of unhealthy price action in this area as well. So I'm looking for price to come back into this area. Okay. We could come back and take out all of this area here as well. But we'll focus on this supply level on GU just to kind of see exactly what it's going to do. If we drop down to the 15-minute, we can see we had a lot of topsy-turvies and fake outs and a lot of change of characters. I mean, just look at it. It was a lot of fake outs going on with GU. And we can see in this area here how it was reacting. We had price come down, give us a change of character, give us another change of character, another change of character. And price played around in this area, and then it broke down and gave us another change of character as well. So it was a lot of action going on. But if we kind of look at current price, you know, we had CPI last week, which was this huge drop right here. This pretty much was the rebound coming from NFP a few weeks ago. So when we kind of look at market structure now, it's a little bit more cleaner. You know, we can see we got price gave us a change of character here. And then price kind of continued, it gave us a retest, and then it kind of continued with its structure. Okay. So now if we come down to where we are currently, I'm sorry, I have this in the wrong area. It needs to be down here. So currently right now, this is our 15-minute range in this area here. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me see something. I don't like the way this looks, so I'm going to deem this entire area as our range here. Okay. And so one of the things that, you know, we're bearish on, oh, hey Ish, you said it's choppy? Hold on, let's see what's up. Hey Ish, is it still choppy? Let me know if it's still choppy. So getting back to it, we can see right now that we have, let me go ahead and let me turn this part off right here. Okay. All right. So one of the things we want to see currently right now, since we're bearish on the M15, we want to see price. Hey y'all, let me know if it's still choppy or anything like that. If I need to adjust something. Okay. All right. Thanks. So we want to see price come up at least 50% in this area here and pretty much continue in structure. Okay. Or if not, then price. We want to see price give us a change of character, a retest, and then continue up to possibly tap into this daily supply here. Okay. But we want to kind of be patient with it and see exactly what it's going to do. All right. Like we have a lot of news on USD this week, so we can be patient. We don't have to chase the market. Just allow the market to come to us, wait for our confirmations. I promise we'll be golden. All right. So like I said, this is what we see on GU. We're bearish on a 15-minute. We can set some alerts as to when it gets to the golden zone. GU hits M15 golden zone. Okay. That way, when it hits that golden zone, we can start stalking price on the 1 minute to actually wait for that change of character, possibly to ride it down to take out this weak low here. All right. Let's look at GJ. All right, we're gonna go over to the weekly time frame on GJ. Gonna remove all this other stuff and see exactly what price is doing on GJ. Okay. Now, if we're looking at GJ from a weekly perspective, one of the things that we can see is price tapped into a weekly supply all the way in this area here. All right, gave us a reaction, and this supply was all the way back in 2015. Hold on, let me make sure I'm looking at that right. Yeah, this was back in 2015, August of 2015. Okay, so we can see price tapped into this area, and price gave us a nice reaction. Okay, gave us a reaction here, which took out this liquidity here. Price came up, we had some manipulation, and then price decided to start to dip off, because we can see on a weekly perspective we have a body closure lower than this area here. Price took liquidity from the upside and then it dropped down. So this particular deal right here, for those that don't know, is called an FU candle. And an FU candle, it stands for exactly what I just said. FU is pretty much the banks pretty much telling the retail trader FU. And the reason being is because this particular candle, what it does is it takes manipulation, it takes liquidity from the top and it closes below the body of the previous candle. So that is called a FU candle, and pretty much a FU candle is a candle of pure manipulation from the banks. All right, and so right now this is considered to be a FU to the downside. Okay, we've taken liquidity to the top side and we close lower than the body here. So right now I'm looking for sales when it's coming for GJ, when we're looking at GJ. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to release a video on that, on FU candles, breaking them down, showing you guys how to mark up the zones and all of that kind of thing. And so like I said, that is considered to be an FU candle, a candle of pure manipulation from the banks. All right, so now if we're looking at the daily time frame, we can see that we're still bullish. Okay, as you can see, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we're currently in our golden zone of our daily time frame. Okay, and we can see that clear as day here. Now, one of the things that I noticed with this particular pair, because this market structure is so clean and it's not as big, this market structure lines up with the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so the 4, and as you can see, is pretty much identical to the 4-hour time frame. So I'm gonna remove the daily. So the daily and the 4-hour are in sync with each other as far as market structure. Okay, we can see price came down to this discounted area in our golden zone, and we can see that price took out liquidity in this area here. All right, price took liquidity here, and then price gave us a reaction and started to go back to the upside. All right, so now we can see that we're bullish on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, now if we drop to the 15-minute, let's look and see what we have. All right, we can see how all of this stuff is starting to line up. So this is a pair, I didn't complete the markups on the 15, but let's go ahead and look at it. Okay, so we can see on the 15-minute time frame we had a change of character here, which is why we can see price came up, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we got that change of character, break of structure right here. Price came back up here and it decided to dip to the downside. Okay, so let's go ahead and notate our lows and liquidity areas that were already marked here, and let's go ahead and look at our M15 low and high. Okay, so now one of the things that we can, yeah, okay, that's our low. All right, so this is our M15 high in this area here. And then we also have our low in this area right here. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is the structural area that we're working with. Hey, let me know just got a signal that the stream is choppy. Let me see. No, I think we good. Okay. So this is the area that we're working with. So if we go ahead and utilize our fibs from the top to the bottom, so this is our premium area that we'll be looking for price to pretty much retap off of. Move our weekly and our daily and all that stuff out the way. Okay. All right. So we want to see price possibly tap into this area, maybe come down a little bit further. Hold on. You know what? Before we do that, let me go back to the 4 hour. So we don't want to look for any sales right now. Right now, we are hands off on the 15-minute time frame until we get a break of structure or a change of character. The reason being is because we're currently in the golden zone right now. Okay? And so price can turn around at any given moment. We don't want to take any sales in this particular area. Okay? And for those that understand and know about this, you know, we got a video, you know, called the cheat code and all of that. It kind of explains this with phases and all of that kind of thing. So we don't want to take anything from this. So right now, only thing that we possibly can look for is for price to come lower, taking out this low, and then possibly giving us a change of character to take out this high. Okay. So that's what we're looking for right now. So right now we can set alerts on this area here. We can say GJ breaks M15 week low. Okay. And then we can also say, put an alert here to say, well, we're not going to even put an alert there. We want to see exactly what this is going to do. Well, it could just go up here. It could. So I'll do it. GJ break, GJ M15 change of character. Okay. That way we understand where the market is. And so if price decides to go up and give us that change of character, we're ready for it. If it breaks lower, if it breaks lower, and then we understand that this is our high, if it comes a little higher or whatever the case may be, and then we can move our strong high down and kind of stalk price. But like I said, we don't want to touch this until we get a change of character going the other way. All right, because right now it's too risky for us to take any sales because price can turn around on us at any given time. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, let's go to the golden girl. Let's check out gold. All right, so now with gold, one of the things that we understand with gold has been on a bullish trend since February. It's been on a huge bullish trend. One of the things we can see with this particular pair is on the weekly time frame, we took out liquidity here. You know, we can see price was bullish and it just gave us a huge impulse to the upside. We haven't even really retraced yet on the weekly or the daily for that matter. Okay. And on the weekly, we can see that we got a couple of demand zones here. And so, like I said, we had a huge wick up to the upside. It literally went all the way up to 24.30 before price started to tank a bit. All right. And so for me, I believe that we might see a huge retracement on gold, possibly to this demand zone here, or possibly to this demand zone here. But that'll take us back down to like the 2200s or 21 or something like that. So I'm looking for huge moves on gold this week. If we come over here and we look at the daily time frame, let's go ahead and put on our daily structure. Another thing that we can see as well is we still haven't retraced on the daily. So if we're looking at the daily time frame and we took a fib from this area down here, hold on, let's see something. Bam, bam. Yeah, this area here, all the way up here. This is right around 2200. So I'm expecting price to at least to retrace at least to 2200. However, if we put our weekly back on, we can see that demand zone is right around that golden zone area, 61.8. I want to see price come all the way back to that area. Okay, so now let's go to our H4 or our 4-hour time frame and look at structure. So as we can see, our 4-hour is all the way up in this area here. All right, so right now we're in our discounted area. It's hands off for me. I'm not going to touch this until it either give us a break of structure or a change of character on the H4, or do the same on the 15-minute time frame. Now, the 15-minute time frame, it broke structure earlier, well, on Friday. And as we can see, this structure looks really weird. Right around this area here, price came up. It was more than a 2-candle pullback here. It shot up, and then price tanked on us and gave us this change of character here. So I'm looking for price to possibly come back and retest, because if you notice in these areas, we literally have, we got this demand zone here that's a little closer. We have this one, which looks like almost like a dragonfly, almost like a hammer just going down. And we have this supply zone all the way up in this area that hasn't been retested yet. So I would like to see price come all the way up here with all of the news that we have going on, FOMC, you know, we have unemployment and all of that kind of thing. Price can possibly tap all the way up into this area and then shoot all the way down. Now, remember when we were talking about on GJ about those FU candles, pure manipulation. If we look at this candle here, this is an FU candle here on the 15-minute time frame. And why is that? Is because this candle took out the liquidity from the top here, and it also closed lower on this area here. It took out the low of this candle here, as far as it closed lower than the body of this candle. So this is pure manipulation in this area here from the banks. Okay, price went up. Retail traders thought price was going to continue to the upside and decided to just tank. All right, and then we can see price just kept just dropping. Came here, we had a little bit of indecision between the buyers and the sellers, and then price decided to just dip off again. Okay, we look here, we have another FU candle here. Price took out liquidity, manipulation, dropped to the downside. Okay, and so price pretty much just dipped off all the way down to this area here. It literally dropped a thousand points, literally. Because look, right now it's at like 23.33 or something like that. But if we look at the high is around 24.31. This was on Friday. We got all of this action on Friday. It dropped literally 1,000 pips on Friday. So just think, if you would have caught this, even if you would have took a $1 per pip, that's $1,000 easy if you would have caught this trade up in this area. If you'd have caught a standard lot, that's 10 grand easy right off the rip. So gold definitely presented a lot of opportunity on Friday to catch some really good pips. I actually caught a nice trade on gold on this particular pair. I actually caught a buy on this particular pair on, you know, right around this area. I caught the buy up, and I caught a nice 1 to 3. Let me see if I have it on here. Yeah, this one here. It was a small trade, but it was right along with the parameters, you know, and it was right along with my risk management, and it hit all cylinders pretty much. So with this, it was bullish on the 15-minute. And so price came up, it came down to its golden zone in the 15 at that particular time. And as you guys can see, it gave a change of character on the 1 minute. For me, I actually utilized the 61.8 on the fibs. So if we utilize the fibs, I literally put my entry at the 61.8. Put my stop loss under this price action here. Price tapped me in. It came up, came back, and retested the entry again. You know, the low was here. When price went up to this area, I actually moved my stop loss in this area here. Okay, because if you notice, this was aligned with structure. This was a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So this was protected on the 1 minute, and price literally just came up and did its thing and took me out. Okay, so this was a really easy textbook trade that I took on Friday. I caught my 3%. I was in and out the market, and it was a done deal for that particular pair. Okay, but okay, where price go? Keeps hiding on me. Man, where the chart's at? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Let me see something. Okay, there we go. All right, so getting back to what we were saying, you guys, with gold, I'm expecting price to give us a significant drop. Let me take a lot of this stuff off, take them phase results off. I'm expecting price to give us a significant drop, but we do have to do a retest on this particular pair. And so I'll be looking for price to retest this 15-minute change of character that it did, and possibly dip off to the downside to take out this right here. Right now though, because we're in a golden zone on the on the 4 hour, it's literally hands off for me until we actually get a break of this area, or we get a change of character going back to the upside or something like that. So right now, like I said, it's hands off for me. I'm not gonna touch it until it does what I need it to do. Okay, and so what that would be something like this. Price will literally need to come up to this golden zone here and possibly, you know, dip to the downside or something like that, or price can continue to the upside. So we just got to be really patient. But for me, I think price is going to take out this H4 low and then give us a retest. That's what I think price is going to do, because I think it's due for that huge drop. Okay, now we're going to look at one last pair, and we're going to look at Nas. Okay, let's look at Nas. I don't even think I marked up Nas. Hold on, what am I doing? I don't even think I marked up Nas. I marked up NQ, and NQ is pretty much the futures version of Nas. But let's take a look at Nas, because I don't even think I marked this up, but we can see, check it out and see exactly what it's doing. Okay. Let's take a lot of this stuff off right quick, you guys. I think a lot of this is 15-minute stuff. Oh, we got 15-minute down here. What is this? Yeah, we're gonna move all this to the 15-minute structure. All right, so let's take a look at this, y'all. Let's start off on the daily time frame. All right, take this away here. So on the daily time frame, we can see that we are bullish. Price didn't take out this high. We had liquidity to come up here and then dip to the downside. Okay, so we're still bullish on Nas. Okay, now if we drop to the 4 hour, let's look at our 4 hour structure just to see what's going on. Right now, we are still bullish on Nas. Okay, we had price to come up. We had liquidity in this area, which make this our structural point here. Price came down and then it broke above. Okay, remove our daily. So now we're playing around in this area here on Nas. So if we put our 15-minute structure on, and we're in the discounted area of our 4 hour right now. So I'm looking for possibly some sort of signal for price to turn around. But one of the things that we can see on Nas is it's a huge 15-minute leg here. from this point here to here. All of this inside of here is noise. It didn't give us any indication that it wanted to do anything because it just played around within this structure. And because it's in this 4-hour discounted area, it's hands off. So we can't even really touch Nas at this point. Now, if you're a scalper, that's on you if it coincides with your trading plan. But as for me, I'm not gonna touch Nas right now because on the higher time frames, Nas is still bullish. Okay, we had a lot of liquidity up in this area. We had consolidation. We had liquidity being taken, both sides of this. So I wouldn't touch it. You know what I'm saying? So price hasn't broke the low or the high on Nas. So right now it's hands off for me on Nas. I'm not gonna touch it. This is Nas. We just gotta wait for Nas to actually give us something. Okay. And we'll look at one more. Let's look at the S&P 500. Let me see, is that the right one? Okay, here we go here. So with the S&P 500, you guys, we're gonna go straight to the 4-hour and look at the 4-hour so we can see what's going on. So some of you may not know that when I look at the S&P 500, I look at two different charts, okay? I have the S&P 500 with spread EX, and I have the S&P 500 with the SP. And the reason I do that is because it gives almost breadcrumbs or significant clues into how you can actually trade this. So if you notice on the SP chart, and I'm gonna put these side by side. Symbols and time, okay? All right, let me remove all of this crap. All right, so check this out, you guys. This is the 4-hour, and I'm gonna go to the 4-hour on this one as well. 1 second, let me take off these session breaks. Okay. All right, now check this out. So if you look at these pairs, both of them on a 4-hour, you notice the SP chart has a lot of gaps. Okay, you see these gaps. Now the market has to come back and fill in these gaps. And so where these gaps happen is when the market closes, when the New York closes, S&P 500 closes around 4:15, 5:15 Eastern, something like that. And so if there are, pre-market trades that happen overnight, there can be a huge gap to be produced within this pair. But you'll notice with the spread EX, there are no gaps. And so what I do is I'll correlate the gaps with the gaps that happens on this one here. And because I know that these gaps has to be filled, I'll draw a gap box in this area. So let's look at this. If we look at this area here, and you look at my crosshairs, you can see my crosshairs, you'll notice that I have a gap box that's actually equal symmetrical in this area here, okay? So this gap has to be filled. And what happened? Price literally came down and it filled this gap, okay? The same held true for this area here. I believe this gap was on another time frame, but you can see that I actually took a buy in this area here to fill in this gap. This area up here, there was a gap right here. I took a sell, it filled in that gap. There was a gap in this area here, I took a sell. So I pretty much played this particular pair with the gaps on these two different charts to correlate with each other. So right now, let's look at price action and see. Right now, what do we see? We have a huge gap. So if we look at recent price right now, okay, we have a huge gap right here, and you can see my crosshairs. I have this gap box right here that's equaling into this gap. Right now, if we look at price action, we have this huge 15-minute area in this area right here. Okay, on a 15-minute time frame, let's see something. We do have price action here, but let's see if this caused a change of character. It did not. Okay, it did not. So this is a low here. Now, if you are a scalper, one of the things that you possibly can do for this, you can drop to the 5-minute time frame. Okay, on this 5-minute time frame, you can utilize this price action to say, okay, this is our high on the M5, because price has to pull back. It has to pull back and go get that gap. So you can come here and say, okay, this is my change of character for the 5-minute. If price come up here, give us a change of character and a retest, okay, we can possibly ride price up. Let's say we caught an entry here, okay? We can possibly ride price all the way up to fill this gap, okay? Which is a 1 to 5 risk to reward. Price has to come back and fill out this gap, okay? So that's a breadcrumb that I use when I'm trading the S&P 500. I trade this one a little bit different than I do other pairs, just because I'm relaying this strategy to the gaps in the market. And basically those gaps are liquidity in the market as well, because the market left that gap. That's liquidity, that's money that's left there. So price has to come back and has to fill that gap to fulfill those unfulfilled orders. So I'm utilizing this particular strategy. You can call it a gap strategy if you want. I'm utilizing this particular strategy pretty much to target the gaps in the market. Okay. Hey, you guys, I hope this was informative to you guys. I'm gonna be in the community a lot this week. My primary focus will be gold, S&P 500. Okay, those will be my two primary focuses: gold, S&P 500. If Nas decide to do anything, then maybe I'll get involved with Nas. GU also might be a pair that I'm looking at as well, because GU has really clean market structure. And one of the things I'll be targeting for GU would be the weekly low. Okay, so if I go back to this and I remove all of this extra stuff and we look at it from a high time frame perspective, we can see that it's on its way down to this weekly low. So this can definitely be a target that we'll be looking at for price to pretty much come on down. Remember, on GU we did get that daily break of structure, so we need some sort of retest to come back, maybe possibly up in here. And if we go back and look at that again, we can see that we have a FU in this joint here. So like I said, for me, gold, S&P 500, possibly GU. Hey, you guys, I hope this was informative, and I'd like to thank you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.